Okay, so now what we're trying to do is to do exactly like we said in the start video. We're going to assign a random number to each of the rows. Each row, the 500 rows, plus of course the row that gives the names to the columns. So each column is a variable. So you've got on 500 rows, so there are 500 children, and for each one we had a reading on the right foot, how he travels to school, etc., etc. So now the first thing we do is we want to identify each one. So we right-click, and we're going to insert a column, entire column. It always, wherever you're clicking, it will put a column into the left of that. So I'm going to call this identity. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So then you just block that off, and you take the corner where the cross is, and you just pull it all the way down to the end, and that will carry on the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see it goes up to person 500. There it is. Okay, we got that? Now, we have rows with numbers now. And you can see row 2 is actually person number 1 because we've got that extra row in with the names. That's why it goes up to 501, even though we only have 500. Now I want to put another column in. And this is the column where I'm going to look at the random numbers associated with each row or each person. So again, I right-click. On that column, I want to insert an entire column. So there it is. And I'm going to just call it random underscore number. I don't want to leave a space. I'm just saying it's random number, like that. Okay, there it is. Now I've got to tell it I'm doing a random number. So you say equal to bracket RAND bracket enter. What happened? I got a random number between 0 and 1. Okay, and you'll look on the thing I gave you. You'll see I've got the insert random number by equal to RAND enter. Very simple now. You click on it. You see this little dot at the bottom. Again, you just pull it. Where did I go up to? Oh, I did the whole one. I did the whole column. That's good. So you just can pull it down and it would do the same thing. Now, if you want to, you can click on the column and you can make it fewer decimals or more decimals, but you see nothing is happening now. Do you know what the problem is? I would like to just take this column and work with that, but because it's a formula, that RAND, it's a formula, you can't manipulate it. So what you actually have to do is you've got to copy it and then make another new column, or you can put it at the other end. And I'm going to paste it now, but when I paste, I must always paste as number. Oh, it's not coming up. Again, I want to paste as number. Did that come up? Yeah. Now, I've got random number at the beginning and random number at the end. But look how it's different. This is 0.1 and this is 0.15. What happens? This first column is a function and it keeps changing. That's why you can't work with it. I've got to save it with a 1, 2, 3 for paste. You'll see one of the paste options has got 1, 2, 3. And that's because it saves it. It fixes that number. This was what the random column was. But now it just keeps changing. Every time I do anything, that first A. So I'm not going to work with A. So I actually want to delete that whole column. I prefer to delete it. It's confusing to have two. So I'm going to delete entire column. I don't want that one. So now this won't change. It's fine. Now if I want to, I can take this here and I can make if I feel like making we'll start there if you like. I can make the column, let me just take the whole column. You can just do it whatever way you find easiest. I want to have fewer decimals. It's just confusing to see so many. You can leave it as many decimals as you like, but I just like the decimals to be few. It makes my head go crazy. Now, what do I want to do? What did we do just now? We said each number I want to pick from, the numbers like a row here. I want to make that, I want to put them now in order of the smallest random number, the next smallest. So if I want a sample of 20, I just take the first 20 rows. Do you get it? How do I do that? These are now numbers, they're not functions. So you can order them, you can do whatever you like on them. So what you do is you click on the row you want to go, and you're going to see a sort and filter. You click there, and now you look for custom sort. You know why you do custom sort? If you don't do custom sort, if you just say sort, largest to smallest, it will sort this column, but it'll leave all the others alone. So now you start taking this column, and you're only sorting the column, but the other columns stay fixed. So that 0.154 is associated with this person, number 1, that's got a right foot of 20 and so on. That's sticking to 0.154, but then you divorce it. This all stays stationary, and you're only changing these rows, and that's what's wrong. So you want to let all the columns, when you change the order of the random, everything must change. So each row must stay. And what I normally do is I fix a row. Like, okay, remember 35 had a female and a 150. And person number 35 had an arm span of 100. You can write it down. That's what I always do. And that was person 35, right? Sorry, not person 35, it was right foot 35. Let's take person 10. Had an arm span of 23. That's impossible. They made it they obviously might have been 123. They didn't write it down. But let's just remember that's how it's recorded. Person 10 had an arm span of 23. I write it down because I want to check later, and that was a 0.767. So somebody write it down. The random number 0.767 had an arm span of 23, and that was person 11. Just write that down. Somebody write that down. Because person 10. My eyes are going grey. Yeah, person 10. You know why you've got to do that? I want to see that when I change the order of the random number, that this row has still got 0.7. I don't just sort this, but leave all this alone. That's why you click, I want to sort on this column. Now you say sort and filter. I go to custom sort. Custom sort. As soon as you click that, look what happens. Can you see everything went grey? All this goes grey because it says I will sort. If I swap these random numbers, the whole row will come with it. Because if you don't do it, for example, you leave this person's length, but his height you move. You can't move, you want to move the whole row when you move anything. Now, I want to go from smallest to largest or A to Z, whatever. I'm going to sort by what? M, which is random number. Sometimes it gives you random number. Smallest to largest, and you just say, okay. At the moment, look at these numbers. Look at this last column. 0.154, 0.6, 0.3. They're not in order. Now, I'm telling it, sort everything that's grey, the whole set. But put them in order, but the order must be smallest to largest of this column, random number. Let's see. Okay? Now it says 0.001, 0.01, 0.13, 15, 16, 19. Can you see? It did it. Now, what it means, if you now go to, remember we had the identity, we had person 1 to 501, person 2. It says out of everybody, 287 got the smallest random number. Person number 64 got the second smallest. Now, guess what? If I want a sample of 10, you just take the first 10 rows. Well, it'll be up to person 11. You see, what was that one we said? 0.767, eh? Let's quickly go. Now, you can quickly go in the last column and find 0.767, 0.767. Is it that one? I thought it was 0.767. Was it? There too. Which one? 767. Is it that one? And is that still there? Now that's right. Yeah. So is that right? Is that what we had? Because sometimes you sort this column, but everything else doesn't go with it. You get to. So then, if you do that, you, for example, have the one guy's right foot with another guy's arm span. You must always be careful to custom sort. because every row is there. Now, if you want a sample of 10 people, do you know what you do? You just take person 287 up to there. That's 10 people. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 500 people. I randomly, without replacement, because remember you can't have any row twice, because you sorted them. Those are the. So now, who are the people you're going to pick out of 500? You're taking 10. It's up to that. Suppose you want 20 people. It's not hard. You just go up to person 21 now because you've already sorted them. That's up to person 21. You see what happened here? It's just given me, but okay, it doesn't matter. So then you would just take up to, from there, all the people, that's up to 321, up to person 455. There were 500. Okay. Now, I want to work out for the 10 people I chose. Now, so you all know how to do it. If I tell you simple random sampling, select a sample of 10. You can do it. Simple random sampling, you just give a column random. So what you do is you have identity, 1, 2, 3, you pull it, you do it all the way. Then you put a random equal to RAND. It will give you a random number. You pull it all the way through. You paste it as a number. It's in your things there. Then you custom sort on the random number. You got it? Okay, and if you want a sample of 30, you just say, okay, it's person, that one, up to all those numbers in the first column, up to 31, up to that guy. It's easy to do. But I don't just want people. I might want to know what is now this is the next stage. Use your sample that you've chosen of size 20 to work out the average arm span. Because you select a sample, simple random sampling without replacement. You don't have to select a sample now. But now you're going to use your sample and work out the average arm span. How are you going to do that? Okay, let's think about it. I want to select 10 people from the 500 and work out the average arm span. Here's person, the first one I chose is person 287, then 64, then 473, up to the last guy. So these are my people, right? Those ones. That's 10 people. Randomly selected from 500, easy. But they want the average arm span. So all you do is you go to the column, it says arm span. Now, unfortunately, this guy, it looks like he didn't do his arm span. So that's a bit of a problem. So we'll have to leave him out and take. And now we only have 9 people, that will be like a non-response. So even though we're 10 people, if there's 9, it's not a problem. You can't take person 11, so you work out the average divided by 9. Okay? How do we do it? We take all these guys up to person 11, there it is, and you work out their mean. But how do we work out the mean using Excel? Do you know how to do it? Very easy, by the way. You just go to a new column, any one you write, and I'm going to say equal to average, bracket, and you take, now let's go, what do I want the average of? I'm going to first of all do the whole population average. Why don't I first of all, the average what? I want to say what's the mean, in Excel, average is mean. What is the mean real arm span for all 500? That's my population's mean. How do we work it out? There, what's at the bottom? Mean equals to the average. And you say first cell, double colon, last cell. So what am I wanting? The average arm span. I'm a bit worried because it's got, let's rather take height. I don't think height's got some that weren't read. I don't like the NAs because it's going to give me a problem. So let's go the average height. So we go average of 157. I just clicked on it. Can you see the first cell? The first person is 157 height. Then I say I want to go up to, now also column F, because it's, what would be the last one? There were 500 people, so the last one is 501. And I just go enter. There it is. That's the average height. So you just go in that column, average, bracket, you click on the first one, or you can write F2. Because remember, F1 will be column F, the first one. Double points, and then the last one will be F1 quality. And it says the average. So this is the population average, isn't it? So we know this is the population average because it's the average height for all 501. Now let's say my sample, what sample was this? The sample size is 10. I want to know what is the sample average. This is the sample, I'm just doing it to show you. Sample average for the heights. How am I going to work out the sample's average? I'm going to say, after I sorted it, I'm just going to look at the first 10. So I'm going to say, what's the average? See, it even helps me write it for me. Oh, let me write it. Average bracket. It will be from this one up to the last average. You click on the thing you want the heights. The average will be for person 11 is your 10. Oh. Equal to average, not F2, until F11, because that's person 10. Close. You see what happened? It just made it blue for me to show me it's the average of that. 160. So if I take 10, what is it telling me? If I took all 500 heights, what's the mean? The mean height is 157. If I take 10, what's the mean height? And the sample is randomly selected. What would happen if I took the sample average for n equal the average height? How many do you want to do? Let's do 25. So I'm going to say equal to average bracket F2, because you've got to take, I've ordered them, I'm taking from number 2, I want 25, so it'll go up to F26. Enter. Well, 156.3. Isn't that a much better sample? A much better mean. Can you see what happened? My sample size increased. Not even by a lot. Look how much better that is. But what about if I say equal to average, and I'm going to say F2 to F, now I'm going to go 100. That should be 156.4. Can you see? That's in 25. This is in 100. No, what did I do? Yeah, I did 100. Can you see it's getting better and better? That's how it works. This is simple random sampling. Why is it without replacement? Because I took everybody, I gave them a random number, and then I just put them in order. You can't have the same person coming twice because each one's got one random number. And you can very easily see, once you've sorted it, you can resort it. We can do the whole thing again. And you would get a totally different one. So do you all understand? I'm going to give you a tutorial to do now. You're going to do it. And do you want to, first of all, practice on this one? Or do you want to, and see how you do on this one? Yeah, or the tutorial. See in the tutorial on the Moodle site, I've given you a, you can go onto Moodle, and just to make it simple, I've given you a second data set that looks like this. It's just got grade 1 and grade 2 children, how many are in a class, and I want you to work on grade 2. Don't use grade 1 because there are also some that don't have readings, like this guy didn't have it. That class didn't have how many were in the class. So you first would have to do data cleaning. So you just need to always check. You see grade 1 had some values missing. So you're going to take this now, this data set, which has got how many entries? I think it's also 501. And you're going to upload it off the Moodle site. You're going to, just like I did, you're going to pick a simple random sampling without replacement, size 10, 25, 100, but you also have to work out the average number of children in a class for all the classes, all 500, and you'll do it from there. Good luck. Tell me.